All right, welcome to the ZVJ podcast. That's what we're calling it right now. These guys are two of my best friends, and they know Reds baseball more than anybody I know. So we're just going to talk about it for 45 minutes, and hopefully you enjoy it. So to start off, we're going to answer a couple of questions from Reddit. The first question is, will CES turn it around? Has been struggling recently, but he has a lot of potential.
Zach, I'll defer this to you to start.
Oh, okay. I'll say yes. I mean, he's definitely going to get better. He's had a terrific start, but I mean, the strikeout numbers are concerning. Those were down in spring training, so I felt like we might see a big year. I mean, we still might, but rough start. But I will say, when he is hitting the ball, he's hitting the ball very hard. I mean, I think his ex-WOBA is like really high. And let's see, yeah, well, it's not really high, but it's a lot better than what it is. It's actually 100 points higher. Um, so there's that. He is hitting the ball hard, and when he does hit the ball, he hits it hard. I think he's been very unlucky. A lot of lineouts. I know against the Mets on Sunday, he had what looked like a go ahead or a game time double down the line that was barely a foul. Um, so yeah, I think he'll turn it around. He's fine, but I would like to see the strikeout numbers and maybe the chase go down a little bit, but I'll say yes.
Yeah, I agree. Out of the games that I've been at, he's probably hitting the three or four double plays, and all of them have also been at around like 95 off the bat. So pretty unlucky there. Um, the one concerning thing, and this is, I don't know if it's changed in the last couple games. I don't think it has. I don't think he's walked the entire year.
Yeah, no, I don't think he has. No.
So that's maybe can be a little more patient. I know he's known to be like very aggressive, but I feel like every time I watch him taking at bat, he's swinging at the first pitch every single time.
Yeah,
So
his batting average is higher than his on base percentage. That's
yeah, so maybe just take a little conservative step back. I don't know if it's the mentality of being in the three spot or what it is exactly, but maybe a little small change in the lineup wouldn't hurt.
Second question, buy or sell, John Sadak is the best announcer in baseball. So what are your experiences with John Sadak? Have you met John Sadak, or are we going to have to meet John Sadak?
I've met John Sadak. I've met
Okay.
him. I think I've met him twice. The last time I met him was at the season ticket full photo day last year. Uh, Complimented my shirt. So pretty nice. He's a nice guy, and he's also my LinkedIn connection. So shout out to John. Uh, but yeah, I like the calls. The all the Ellie calls have been electric from all his electric stuff. So I have no complaints, except when he says uh, 3-0 green light every single 3-0 count. But
I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna sell as best announcer in baseball, but I feel like he's easily top 10, maybe top 5. But I don't know. They gotta get Barry out of the booth. I'll stick with that. Like,
very stick to player development.
yeah, no, we love Barry, but maybe the commentating is not for him. But but no, I love John. He's great. Yeah.
Cowboy is your color guy.
I like Chris Welsh. She's good.
Yeah.
Final question from Reddit. Hey, I'm a fan from California visiting Cincinnati and GABP. What do I need to know? What advice would you give to a visiting fan who's never been to Great American? Because I know you guys go all the time. So what's some advice that you would give?
Eat La Rosa's at the ballpark because it's terrible outside of the ballpark.
I don't know.
That's
I I think LaRose is just terrible, period. But don't eat Skyline in the ballpark because it's like triple the price. So just go to an actual Skyline. But food wise, it's gotten better. The last couple of years, I had a down the right field line at the Montgomery Inn barbecue place, down in the corner there. They added a brisket mac and cheese hot dog for only like $10, which isn't too bad. It's really good. So if you're into that, get that. I like it. I guess in general, I don't know, enjoy. Yeah. It's a nice
I would
spot.
also add, if you're looking to get like cheaper seats and not like drop the bank on tickets, sit in the moon deck. Moon deck is where it's at.
So now we're going to talk about the Reds season thus far. Obviously, off to an okay start. The division's off to a good start too, I believe. Does everybody have a winning record as of right now?
Think so.
I believe so. Pittsburgh is doing their usual April strolling.
So we got ups and downs. Tell us about some of the things you've noticed.
Well, with some of the injuries, some of the main guys that need to step up, especially against left-handed pitchers, are CES and Candelario. That's not really happening right now. It did kind of happen for the rest of the lineup against Ashby the other night, but if they want to compete consistently against left-handers, especially with where the roster's at right now, those guys kind of have to take a step forwards.
Yeah, I'm with Vlad on the CES and Candelario. I'm not terribly concerned yet with CES, but Candelario, if people go to his baseball savant page, it's very blue, which is not a good thing. Like his entire batting section, well, all of it. I mean, he hasn't had a barrel the entire year. 0.0%. He's chasing, he's swinging and missing, he's not hitting the ball hard. It's just not good at all so far. He's been, I guess, fine defensively. Um, Not elite or anything, but more than serviceable. But yeah, he needs to be a lot better, especially that middle of the lineup. Good thing there have been some good things. I think the rotation's been really good. First two times through now. I know Montas was a little bit of a rough go yesterday, but defense didn't really help him out either. But I mean that's what he's not going to strike a ton of people out. Creates weak contact, and I've liked what I've seen from Montas. Green looks pretty good. Maybe a little better than last year, I'd say. He needs to get better control of the zone and he'll be fine. But he was, I think, really good against the Mets. Lost it. I don't want to say lost it, but didn't really have it against the Nats opening weekend. But looking forward to seeing him tonight. I think the bottom of the rotation has been good. Ashcraft has looked good. I know he kind of imploded in that. What was it, sixth inning the other night? But I mean, he's looked good. Excited to see Lodolo come back. I don't really have any complaints about Abbott either. I think he's kind of giving what you'd expect. I mean, he's not going to be what he was like the first 3 weeks or whatever when he came out. That was ridiculous. But he's been more than serviceable back into the rotation. I think that's definitely been the bright spot. Obviously, our guy Spencer Steer. I mean, he's ridiculous right now. He's been great. I think Ellie's been pretty good despite kind of the general hate from a lot of Reds fans. I think he's been more than fine. I mean, this is what he's going to do. He's going to strike out a lot. You just kind of have to deal with it. It would help if he cut down on the defensive mistakes maybe a little bit. but I'm more than happy with what he's done so far. The home runs will come. I mean, they kind of did the other night, but they'll come with how hard he hits the ball. He's been fine, but no, yeah, I'm pleased with the start. Not perfect, but kind of hard when everyone's seemingly injured or suspended. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that no LV suspension is really.
yeah,
Um, so let's talk about Ellie for a little bit. He's one of the most polarizing players, I think, with the Reds. As you said, Zach, there are a lot of Reds fans that are giving him some hate because of his strikeout rate. But then there are also some Reds fans that love him, and I'm one of those. Just because he can change the game with one swing, or when he gets on base, he's electric. How do you feel about Ellie De La Cruz?
I mean, I think he's a game changer. It feels like every time he gets on base, it's like an automatic triple. He steals second, third if he's not already on second or third. Um, I also feel like eventually he'll kind of come around even more. I mean, I feel like at the end of last year, he showed signs of it before he was just kind of swinging and missing and everything. And right now, I think part of it is him getting a little too conservative at times. Sometimes he just watches like meatball strikes go right past him and
Mm-hmm.
look at the like at bat strike zone and it's like right down the middle and you're thinking like what are you doing here? But I think it's one end of the spectrum that was last summer and now it's like the totally opposite side of the spectrum. And at some point you'll kind of see like a medium of that. And I think that'll be it when he's at his best and what he'll kind of stick through with his career. But I also think the hate is a little bit too much. I think he's one of 4 players in baseball right now who's been on base every single game. So I mean, like I said, with him, if you get him on base, that's a free runner in scoring position every single time. So you're basically creating a run if you have less than 2 outs, hopefully, if he gets on base. So
I think a little bit why there's a bit of a I don't know, a negative outlook on him from some people is because he's hitting in a prime run producing spot, and I don't know, he really just hasn't looked terribly comfortable with runners on base and 2 outs, less than 2 outs, whatever it is. I'm sure he'll get there, but I'll ask you guys this: like, what do you think about maybe trying leading him off? Are you opposed to that? Are you for that? I don't know. I think it would be prime opportunity for him to just kind of set the tone every game. I'm obviously India does great in that role, but or even hitting him second behind India. Um, kind of what are you guys' thoughts on that? Maybe think it'd be beneficial or not?
um, I've never really been on the leadoff train, but second is definitely appealing. Especially, I don't know what'll happen once Friedel comes back.
Yeah.
It'll probably depend on who's throwing. But if he's hitting behind TJ or India, I think that's a good start.
I agree with you. I agree with you. And so now I want to take a look at prospects. So the Cincinnati Reds, Fangraphs released the Cincinnati Reds prospect list today, and just want you to maybe pick out, because I know Vlad, you're big on prospects. You've done a lot of research on it. Want you to pick out maybe 1 or 2 prospects that you're excited about.
Well, Fangraphs has Sal Stewart at 35, which
Hmm.
I don't I don't really understand that. I've never really looked like too much into Fangraphs rankings. I think a couple of years ago they had Alan Serta in the top 3. So I don't really pay too close attention to their rankings. But I think Sal is one of the higher floor bats. Probably top 3 floor bat in the Red system. He's actually shown some position versatility. He's played a little bit of second base, even with how big he is, along with the corners. But he's going to hit. I think he walked more than he struck out last year. So I'm very excited about him. And then this will be very soon. It probably only hasn't happened because he's not on the 40-man, but Blake Dunn, um, he would be talked about way more if it weren't for his injury history and his age. But dude can do a little bit of everything. Stole, I think, 60 bases last year, hit for some power, plays great defense, uh, played extremely well in single A and even better in double A. It's in triple A right now. But definitely excited about those two guys.
No, yeah. Vlad's definitely the more knowledgeable person here when it comes to the farm systems and top prospects around the league. Obviously, I mean, I'm familiar with our guys, but I don't. I will say, like, I did find, oh, whether you agree with it or not, it was kind of refreshing to see Fangraphs have like a just like they obviously made their own list and didn't look at anyone else's list, which I respect because I feel like every prospect list I see, it's seemingly a copy of like whoever released the first one and move somebody down a couple spots, move someone up a couple spots. They definitely did their whatever their formula was or their own scouting and came up with something themselves, which I wholeheartedly respect. I mean, obviously you're going to have Rhett Lauder, no LV at the top. Chase Petty's going to be somewhere up there, Evan Arroyo. But no, I mean, there are definitely some guys underrated on that list, some probably overrated. In particular, I don't know. I think it'll be interesting to see how quickly Rhett Lauder moves up the system. I think he definitely has a real chance to be on the major league team at some point later this year. Hopefully it's not by necessity though. That wouldn't be ideal. Because that was kind of the case with Abbott last year, Williamson too. But I mean, hopefully he kind of forces his way up to the big leagues, and I think he can. If not, I probably would expect to see him in the opening day rotation next year. Am I wrong there? Well, I don't
No,
know.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
I mean,
Feels
he's in Dayton right now, which is high A.
yeah.
I don't expect that to last more than 5 or 6 starts at the most before he goes to Chattanooga.
And then remember, Abbott came straight from Chattanooga, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So could be on a similar path as him. Um, we'll see though.
I don't know if he went straight to AAA or not. If he was in AAA, he wasn't there that way.
Yeah, I don't remember him pitching in AAA at all.
Have either of you been to Chattanooga? Is it
Yeah.
a nice? Is it a nice stadium?
Um, it's nothing crazy. I think they're building a new stadium.
Okay.
So that should be exciting. I don't know the exact time frame of when it'll be done, but maybe if it's within the time frame, maybe the number 2 pick this year will play there. I don't know, just kind of thinking out loud, but that would be pretty cool.
All right, second to last segment. We're going to talk about a little bit about the game tonight against our old friend Wade Miley, and we're going to talk about a few other series before we do our next episode. So, how do you think the game's going to play out tonight, and what are you looking forward to?
Well, hopefully it goes a little better than yesterday. Yesterday was very frustrating. Um, Montas didn't have his best stuff yesterday, but like Zach said, the defense did not help him at all. And the offense actually kind of fought to stay in the game in some respect. But hopefully tonight, just kind of some of the things we talked about, we see some barrels from Jamer. That would be great. CES actually had a pretty nice game last night too. But I mean, I hate to say this with a playoff contending team, but the lineup versus a left-hander isn't exactly something you look at and get excited about right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely, you want to see more against left-handed pitchers than we have seen. I think it's a good game for Stu to get his first homer. We love Stu over here, so he's been hitting the ball hard. I feel like he's been playing well. Obviously, he had the awesome robbery the other day from Adonis. That was awesome. But no, he's been hitting the ball well. Kind of a pretty, I don't want to say lone bright spot, but one of the few bright spots against lefties, I'd say. Him and Steer. And honestly, the fact that Benson's been somewhat competitive, I don't think Wade Miley is exactly a great matchup for him because he still is very pull happy, I think, against lefties. So I mean that's fine. It's just, I don't think that plays well against Wade, who's gonna, cut the shit out of the ball and move it all over. I don't know. It's just a hard guy um to uh to really like dead set on a middle in fastball and turn on it. But no, yeah, hopefully we get a good start from Hunter Green. I feel like the Brewers offense is due for like a major regression the next week or so. I mean, they've kind of been on fire to start it off. Like, I mean, they just got dudes putting up like 1,000 OPSs who you barely even heard of. So, so I don't know. Feels like might be a good day for like 6 shutout innings or something from Hunter, but that's what I'm hoping to see. Uh, yeah,
I have
hopefully
one
a
request
W.
for Hunter. I have one request. It
Yeah,
is to not walk Sal Frelick tonight.
I can't stand Sal Frelick,
Every
man.
single game, the last 2 or 3, he's just started every single inning, gets down 0-2, and then he somehow works his way on base, and then they score runs out of him.
What are your thoughts on Sal Frelick? You think he's anything?
I think he's a glue guy, but
Glue guy.
I I think he'll give you great defense out there, but
Yeah.
not a great bat. The league average.
No, I never understood why he was such a high prospect. It's
Yeah,
not,
I
I
agree.
don't know. I never
Brewers
understood.
been a lot better normal right fielder, Mr. Churio.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're gonna make some bold predictions. So give me one or two bold predictions about the Red season. So I'll start. Uh, Here's a really bold prediction. So our friend Vlad here, he threw a perfect game at our high school. Um, and my prediction is that there will be a Red who throws a perfect game this year.
Wow. That's a very bold prediction. I like it though.
Going to beat Carson Spires.
No, I think it's good if it's going to be anything. My bet's on my boy Hunter Green. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna bet on.
If it was before the season, I would say CES hits 40 home runs, but I'm not saying that anymore. I don't know. Maybe. Oh, if we start to face more righties, I'll say Benson and Fraley both go 2020. I don't know how bold that is, but I think that's a reasonable, mild take.
I mean, considering the amount of at bats they'll probably get, well, especially Fraley, because I mean, seeming like he's not gonna really get much at all against lefties. So, I mean, that's a relatively bold prediction. I like it though. But so JC, can I do this about? So is it player prediction or team standings?
Anything you'd like.
Can I give you two?
Sure.
All right. So player one, I think Spencer Steer finishes top 5 in NL MVP voting. I'm not gonna say he
I
wins
like that.
anything because Mookie Betts will win it by a landslide, it's seeming like early. But yeah, I think Spencer finishes top five. Think he hits 25, 30 homers and he has a huge power output. I mean, not that they really matter, but I think he does lead the league in RBIs. That's a stat that a lot of writers and voters love to lazily look at. So, no, I think he has a huge year standings wise. I I think I will say this. I do still think the Reds will win the division, not very convincingly, but I think they win the division, and I don't think it's over the Cubs or Cardinals. I think the Brewers finish in second and potentially get a wild card spot. That was kind of
I
my before the
definitely
season prediction, but I'll stick with it.
definitely like those predictions a lot, especially the Steer one. He's been on fire. I know he's your guy.
Yeah.
So Spencer, if you're listening to this, we love you. So now it's time for one big thing. So why don't you just give me one thing around baseball that you've noticed or one thing you wanted to shout out? We have 5 more minutes on our meeting time, so maybe like a minute or two of something that you want to shout out. I'll go first. The TJ Antone injury kind of broke my heart a little bit. I almost had a tear come to my eye when that happened, just because of how hard he's worked. So, just for TJ Antone, just prayers to him and his family. Hopefully, he gets better and we can see him pitch again, because he's a favorite of mine. Like him a lot. One of the Reds I've met. So, yeah, TJ Antone. And then wanted to give a quick shout out to Stuart Fairchild again for that catch at the wall.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
First, this isn't Reds at all. Just kind of shouting out a guy who's kind of battled through some injuries and is actually showing out right now. But Alex Kirilloff of the Twins, former top prospect, had a long history of hand and wrist injuries, had multiple surgeries. He's hitting crap out of the ball right now. He already has 3 triples this season. He's got a home run, hitting over 350. So big part of that Twins offense right now with Royce Lewis out. So I'm just excited to see him healthy. And then as for the Reds, shout out to Ian Jabot because he'll be back soon. And I know all 3 of us love us some Ian Jabot. So.
Yeah, we do love Ian Jabot here. Big Ian Jabot fans. No, I guess around the league, player wise, it's kind of hard to not notice what Tyler O'Neill is doing with Boston. Another Cardinals outfielder that went somewhere else and became an elite player. Can add him with Randy out there and the former
It's going to
Cardinal.
happen with Dylan Carlson soon.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't heard from Dylan Carlson in a minute.
He had some, I think it was a labrum injury or something with his shoulder. AC joint maybe.
Him and I think Trout are tied for the lead league in homers. I feel like people kind of forgot about Mike Trout. I know Vlad and I co-own a fantasy team that we picked him up in like the 3rd round or something. It's insane. He's just kind of he's still one of the I think he's still one of the best players in baseball. I don't know why people kind of stopped thinking that or kind of forgot that, but I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. So I'll give a shout out to Mike Trout. And maybe a more negative one. The Marlins are absolutely god awful. I like to I'd like to give myself a pat on the back for that one because I did say before the season I thought there was a chance the Marlins could finish with the worst record in baseball, and I was told they would. I was told they would make the playoffs by someone who
Oh.
disagreed with me. I mean, that might be the worst take I've ever heard. They are horrendous. Part of it's not really their fault. They have a couple bad pitching injuries with Sandy and Yuri Perez out, but I mean, they'll obviously be a little better than what they're doing. I mean, they might not be the worst team in baseball, but they're really bad. I mean,
That offense is terrible.
yeah, I mean, it's I mean, Jake Berger's the only soul with an ounce of positivity with a bat in their hand in that lineup.
Telling me
It's
Javi Garcia has no positivity.
no, yeah, it's just they're a mess. But yeah, no, they definitely caught everyone's eye in a bad way, I'd say. But yeah.
All right. Thanks for watching. Go Reds.
The Reds.